Do I have an obsession? Yes. Am I willing to change? Well, no. Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Colleen and this is Cmoore-Books. So as you can tell from the title of the video and the thumbnail, this is a book haul. I have an obsession with buying books. I officially have a library. So to have a library, you have to have at least 1,000 books in your collection. I have 421 or 422. I just bought one on Tuesday, so it automatically, it changes all the time. Do I have an obsession? Yes. Am I willing to change? Well, no. Do I have enough space for all these books? Absolutely not. Will that stop me from buying more books at this given time? No. Let's just keep piling books on until the shelves collapse. So I'm going to be sharing these books by genre, except for children and middle grade. Like, those will encompass all of their genres, and then I'll be mixed.
It doesn't look like you have an app named Compass, if you'd like.
I'm not talking to you, sorry. Thank you very much. Then for all of the other genres, I have like mystery, thriller, some fantasy, and some other genres. I'll be stating whether they're YA or adult, but I'll just be keeping it simple for the children / middle grade. So without further ado, for our first genre, we're gonna do historical fiction, mostly because it's the smallest, with only 3 books. So the first one is a YA historical fiction. This is the 4th in the Daracot Tales by Melanie Dickerson. It is a fairy tale retelling. It is Christian fiction. It is the 2nd series within sort of like the same like time. Actually, it's earlier than, well, it's set earlier than the other series that I read of hers, the Hagenheim series, which I love just as much. So this one starts out with their older sister, Court of Swans, which I can't remember what retelling, but then it's about like all of her brothers, and then each one of the books follows one of her brothers. So, and I can't remember which brother we're on this point, but she has a lot of them. She has 7. And then the last 2 are both adult historical fiction. We had The Bookwoman of Troublesome Creek and The Bookwoman's Daughter, which is the companion. I cannot recommend both of these enough. They are absolutely amazing. So I'm only going to talk about the first one a teeny bit, but this one is about Cussy Mary. She is a horse pack librarian. This was a project that was set up in the 1930s by Teddy, I think it was Teddy Roosevelt. It was one of the Roosevelts. So many of them were president. Oh, it's gonna bother me if I don't look. You know what? It doesn't say. It does not say which Roosevelt. Okay, well, I'll look it up later. And she has a genetic disease that they didn't know about back in the 1930s. It wasn't discovered until much later. But she's based off of a family in the Kentucky area in the South where their skin is tinted blue. And during that time period, people in the South were very superstitious, and this caused a lot of trouble for her and for her dad and her mom, who had already passed away at the time of the book. So yeah, just goes through her experiences. And then the second one follows her daughter about 20 years later. So highly recommend them both. So yeah, we shall move on to the next genre. We are going to move on to contemporary fiction. This one I got out of a book box that I won through, like, it was like a raffle that I won through my insurance. And this is set by, it's about a girl in Ireland. It's YA. And it's just like talking about like her everyday life and just dealing with stuff in life. Big Girl, Small Town by Michelle Galen. So it just looked really interesting. And look, it has deckled edges. I don't know if you can tell. Okay, that's better. I love a book with some deckled edges. And then I have If These Wings Could Fly by Kyrie McCauley. So I honestly picked this book up because it's set in Pennsylvania, and I am from Pennsylvania, and so yeah, I know it's like contemporary, but I think there's some like magical realism going on in here, maybe. I'm not 100% positive. But I know it's got something, there's like birds involved, obviously, right there. I'm really hoping it's not like scary birds. So yeah. And I also lost a book. So yeah, we will go ahead and move on to the next genre. So I'm going to do children's now because it is quite small. So this one is Bark George by Jules Pfeiffer. This one is so cute. So if you have kids, I highly recommend this. And as a children's librarian, I just had to get it for myself. So in case I wanted to do it for a story time and the particular library that I was working at didn't have it, I had a copy. So the mother dog is wondering why her little pup son is not barking correctly, so she takes him to the doctor and takes him to the vet, and hilarity ensues. And this one, Negative Cat, is about this little boy Max and how he's trying to figure out why like his family cat that they just adopted is so negative about everything, and they're eventually able to form a bond, and it's so adorable. I'm not going to tell you how they form that bond because it's so much better to explore it together. And then I Am Quiet, A Story for the Introvert and All of Us by Andy Powers. I honestly recommend for anyone, introvert, whether you have a kid or not in your life, all introverts out there should read this. It's so good. This won the Goodreads Choice Awards for Best Children's Book for 2022, which is how I found out about this book. It is just so, I related so much to this story, and I was like, wow, yep, this was my life. And honestly, sometimes still is, because we sometimes just don't outgrow things that we deal with, ways that we were as a child. So yeah, so let us go on to the next genre. Okay, so we're gonna do mystery thriller. Since most of these books are by one author, we're gonna do the one that is not by her. So this is the comic, Enola Holmes, Mycroft's Dangerous Game. The story is by Nancy Springer, but this is written by, the story is written by Nancy Springer, and this was written by Mickey George. So, I did enjoy this. I hope I didn't watch the second film, and I don't know if this is what the second film is about. If it is, well, I kind of spoiled it for myself already. So, but that's okay. And then we have, we'll go with this one first since these are all together. The Good Girl Guide to Murder trilogy. And we have Good Girl, Bad Blood, And then As Good as Dead. Obviously the first one is about Pip trying to solve the murder of Andy Bell and trying to prove that Sal Singh did not commit that murder. She tells her teacher that it's for like for her school project, and she's just looking at the media aspect around a murder trial. But she's really trying to solve that murder. And then craziness just ensues in the second and the third book. So yeah, I cannot recommend this series enough. And I would highly recommend the audiobooks as well. They are just like the mixed media aspect of the books is just as well done in the audiobooks. When they have mixed media, like different audiobook narrators and like the calls, like they have like the dial, the ringing and all that. Yeah, so good. Then the final one by Holly Jackson is 5 Survive. This is like a sharpshooter's trying to kill them. They're stuck on a road. There are 6 of them and only 5 survive. I have not read this yet, but it is on my 23 books to read in 2023. So I'm excited to read that. So let us move on to the next genre. Okay, so we shall do some romance. And this is all YA. Honestly, I think most things are YA here, let's be honest, for most of my sex. Yeah. Which I haven't had to explain any of that. So, we shall start with Nick and Charlie, a Heartstopper novella. I did not know this existed, and the second I found out, I just had to buy it. I think I put this on the 23 books I want to read in 2023. And once I get closer to completing my TBR ring toss for this month, which I'll link if you want to check it out. I want to get on this one because it's so short, and I just need more Nick and Charlie in my life because we still don't have volume 5 of Heartstopper, which I know will be the last volume, but I'm just not ready for it. And then we have Let It Snow by John Green, Maureen Johnson, and Lynn Miracle. Okay, I know I butchered her name. I'm so sorry. But yeah, this is 3 different stories all told on Christmas Eve, and all of the stories in one way or another like linked together. I did enjoy this. I got this back in December because I wanted a holiday festive read, and I can't remember what I gave this, to be honest. It was either 3 or 4 stars. Yeah, just some parts were lacking. So yeah. And then I have 2 YA romance books by Lynn Painter. We have The Do-Over, which just came out most recently. It's set on Valentine's Day, so it's kind of like a Groundhog Day type of scenario, but set on Valentine's Day, where she keeps reliving the same day over and over again. She keeps hitting this guy's car. She's like, why do I keep bumping into him? So yeah, it's so good. Highly recommend. I think this is one of the last books I read in 2022. And then we have Better Than the Movies. Oh my goodness. Such a good book. If you have not picked this up, read it. Wes and Liz, like, they are the best. And we are getting a sequel. I can't wait. So it's gonna be fantastic. But yeah, Lynn Painter, so good. So let's just move on to the next genre. Okay, so I've got a teeny bit of nonfiction here. So I bought the Storyteller's Workbook by Adrienne Young and Isabel Ibanez. I've been wanting to get back into writing, and this seemed like such a lovely way to do it. Adrienne Young actually did, like, if you pre-ordered the book, she did like a streaming thing. Like it wasn't Zoom, but like it was like a Zoom presentation of sorts, about like writing and things like that. I wasn't able to go like be there live when it happened, but I do have the recording to watch. So yeah, so excited to dive into this, hopefully soon. Yeah, I just need to do, I'm just so invested in the reading right now that I haven't gotten to the writing yet. And then I have The Magic of Christmas Miracles, an all-new collection of inspiring true stories. So I found this at Christmas time inside of a little free library. I exchanged a book that I had in my car for this one. And surprisingly, I did not read it at Christmas time. I ran out of time, but next Christmas it will get read. And then the final nonfiction I have is Atomic Habits by James Clear. I really enjoyed this book. I actually listened to the audiobook for my library, and then I got this for Christmas from my parents. So from my mom and my dad. So yeah, really excited to dive deeper and like take notes. Because like pausing and stopping the audiobook can get a little frustrating when it's a book like that. So yeah, let us move on to the next genre. Okay, so we are going on to middle grade, and I realized in this stack that there is a children's book in here. There's No Place Like Space, all about our solar system. This is technically a children's book. Should have been that stack. It's Dr. Seuss book. And yes, it is the revised edition because they took out Pluto. Poor Pluto. Got demoted as the planet. So yeah, it's kind of sad. And then most recently, because I started compiling a series tracker, I realized that I was missing some of the Heartland special edition books. So I went and found them on thrift books. So I now have Heartland, A Summer to Remember, Heartland, Beyond the Horizon, and Heartland, A Winter's Gift. So I've never read these three. There's only one now that I'm missing, just one. And then my collection will be complete. And I've now started watching the show. So it's gonna take me a long time to catch up on that show. There's like 16 seasons, guys. 16! I'm feeling very overwhelmed right now by the amount of seasons that are in that show. We're not talking like 10 episode seasons. Like the first season's like 13, and then every season after that is like 18 to like 22. Huge commitment here, folks. And then we have The Boundless by Kenneth Opel. My library this was like in the free pile. So this is like a murder mystery. For what I remember. Yeah. And so like the kid, he's trying to protect a key. There's like hidden treasures on a train, and there's like villains and strange creatures. Yeah, all this is happening on this train right here. So yeah, it sounded really good, and I was like, I'll take it home. It's free. Why not? I can always take more books. I can always have more books on my shelves. And then this last book I just hauled on Tuesday. This is thanks to Jesse from Jesse Can Read. This is all Jesse's fault. He talked about this book, And now I have it. Simon Sort of Says. Because I love middle grade, and this sounded like a book that was going to tear out my heartstrings, and well, yeah, I just had to have it. So it's about a boy that really wants to be famous for all these like different stunts that he pulls and like these fun little things. But the only thing that he seems to be known for is that he's the only survivor of a school shooting. So yeah, so I know it's gonna be an emotional read for sure, just based on that description. But yeah, I really enjoy middle grade so much. So let's just move on to our final category, and it is by far the largest. Okay, and for our final category, we have fantasy, which is by far the largest one, which is why they did for last. The first two are adult, so that's why I'm doing them first. I have To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini. I have no idea what this is about, but I've seen a bunch of other booktubers read it. And it was part of a book box that I was part of, so I thought I'd give it a go. Eventually. Because it's a mass market paperback, but it's still really thick. So I might stare at it for a while. And then I have Babel by R. Kwong, which I am so excited for, which is on my TBR ring toss for this month, which I need to start reading like now, because I know it's like over 500 pages. So, and we're not going to say what time of the month it is.
I found this on the web.
No, I'm not talking to you, Siri. Always putting your foot in at the wrong time. Then we have two by Margaret Rogerson, the companion to Sorcery of Thorns, the novella Mysteries of Thorn Manor. It is just as wonderful as I was hoping it would be. And then another book by Margaret Rogerson, Vespertine. They're like they're like nuns who cleanse the dead so they like don't like rise again. So they're kind of like fascinating nuns that like kick some butt. So they can stop like demon possession. So yeah, really, I've already read that one, but I had to have my own physical copy. Thankfully, my family was nice and got it for Christmas. And then I got this from Barnes and Noble. Skin of the Sea by Natasha Bowen. I know this is like a mermaid story. And that's about all I know about it. But I know that I've heard really great things about it, which is why I wanted to pick it up. And it has a gorgeous cover, which really drew me in. And I'm wanting to read more diversely. So, yeah. Excited to read that. And then my brother was ever so kind this year and got me the Mina Lima designed and illustrated Harry Potter, the first two. Yes, I still have them they're still sealed since Christmas, because I haven't been brave enough to open them up yet. Not until I'm ready to read them. But I've seen one of them in the store because some other customer opened it up. It was not me. So yeah, they are incredible. All of like the pop-ups, and so excited. And then my pre-order of Chain of Thorns came in. So the final book in the Last Hours series, and this is the collector's edition. which basically means that it's the first edition. So it has the reverse Dutch jacket, which is absolutely gorgeous. And then there are like 10 prints inside of it. So I still need to read Chain of Iron before I can read this. I'm a tad behind, mostly because I was not emotionally ready. Because Cassandra Clare has this thing that she likes to do. Book 2 either has like a really emotional like ending that makes you like not want to go on, or she ends book 2 with like a tragic death, and then you're waiting like a year or more depending on what's happened for the last book. And so I waited until right before to try and read Chain of Iron, and then I didn't quite read Chain of Iron, and so now I just have them both to read back to back. And then I have the 6th volume of the Mortal Instruments graphic novel series. This is the second half of City of Glass. So good. Then I have the prequel to Fable and Namesake. This is Saint. I'm not going to tell you who he is, but I will just let his eyes stare at your soul. Just right there, yeah. Because that would ruin Fable and Namesake. Because he's kind of an important character. And knowing who he is and his significance would ruin a lot of things for you. So, I'm not going to do that to you. Then we have The Bones of Ruin by Sarah Rowley. So this is about, she's an African tightrope dancer. I don't know why I thought she was Chinese. I'm looking at the cover. I don't know why I was getting Chinese from that. I think I'm mixing up my books. She's an African tightrope walker dancer. And crazy thing is, she can't die. So, yeah. Stunning cover. So just like that premise kind of had me like super intrigued. So I'm excited to pick that one up. And then we have the UK edition of Gallant, which is just so gorgeous. Yeah. Like, look at these end papers here. I can't remember what the US looks like right now. And then the cover. Yeah. Absolutely love it. I love Gallant. So now I have the US and the UK edition. Is that a tad excessive? Sure. We're not going to talk about the fact that I have 5 editions of the Invisible Life of Addie LaRue and the UK paperback edition on pre-order. So moving along, folks. The Stolen Heir by Holly Black. This is the companion series to the Folk of the Air trilogy. This one follows Oak and... can't remember what the girl's name is. Oak and someone else. Surin. So I have not had a chance to pick this up yet, but I am very excited because I really liked Oak in the first book, the first trilogy, like the original trilogy. So yeah, and I just really loved this world that Holly Black created. So yeah, I'm not one of those that read her adult is it Something of Night, Book of Night? Yeah, I never read Book of Night, so I don't have like, I've heard people be like rejoicing finally she's back to YA where she belongs. So like I don't have that opinion because I never read Book of Night. But I'm just excited for this in general. So and then the final book is Morgan, I know this cover is fascinating. Is it not? And beautiful. The Beginnings of the Remnant Universe by Mary E. Pearson. This is the prequel to the Remnant Chronicles. The first one is The Kiss of Deception. Then we have The Hard Betrayal. And then, oh my gosh, oh my goodness, why am I blanking? The Beauty of Darkness. And then a lot of people have heard of the companion series, Dance of Thieves and Vow of Thieves. So like if you read Dance of Thieves, Vow of Thieves, it probably made more sense if you read the original trilogy, The Remnant Chronicles. That's where all the world building happens, and like all of the characters like come, like a lot of them make appearances in the duology, and you're like, they're back, you're so excited. So like if you haven't read it, you're like, oh, that's nice, these people are here, don't know who they are. But yeah, so this is the prequel to all of those series. It's sort of like how we got where we are. So it's like fairy tale-esque, and like yeah, it's just beautiful. And there's like these beautiful pages. I know I just saw a beautiful like full page art. And of course, now that I want to show you, I can't find it. Come to me. Oh, here's an example. Like, look at this. So beautiful. Oh, I know. Oh my, shut up. Seeing trails. Sorry. Sorry. I have my theories. So many theories are going right now. I have theories about the Remnant Chronicles and like what things are, and okay. If anyone has read this series and want to talk like theories about like where things are set and how it relates to our world, just let me know. I would be happy to do that. So that's just like a random side note. But thank you so much for coming along on this very long book haul. I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea how many books that was, but I will count them and put a total here. But yeah, thanks for coming along on this crazy ride, and I would love it if you would subscribe and join the craziness that is my book life, and just my life in general. So also I just want to say, remember who you are and where you live, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.